Well, Paul Rosenberg, author of the Freeman's Perspective newsletter, is here to discuss this with us now live. Thanks for joining us here. Now, the President says you can't have 100% privacy and also have 100% security. Will people in the US accept that, do you think?
Well, that's a very good question. The problem with the people in the US right now is that they're not emotionally prepared to deal with the possibility of an electronic police state. It's just something that they've never, that's something that happened in East Germany. It's something that happened in China, but they never think such a thing is possible in America. And it's a good question of how many people will just find a reason to pass it off.
Doesn't the threat of terrorism, though, justify this?
No, it really doesn't. There was terrorism 100 years ago. There was terrorism 30 years ago. These organizations spent billions before 9/11. They spent billions before the 7/7 bombings. They spent additional billions before the Boston bombings. And they occurred just the same. There's going to be terrorism 100 years from now, too. So it's a fallacious trade to say, oh, give us all of your privacy and we'll give you security. They haven't done it, and they can't.
And a lot of these programs were approved during the George W. Bush presidency. So why is President Obama backing them now?
Well, that's a very good question. He came in promising that he was going to do otherwise. These are very, very large programs with hundreds and thousands of people who are backing them, and part of them, the entire military establishment, Congress. I don't really know what the precise pressures on him are, but he has more or less folded on all of the promises that he made to stop such things, and he's done exactly what Bush did, equally, maybe even more.
And all this comes, doesn't it, after revelations of government spying on Associated Press and Fox News. Is this a new trend, in your opinion?
Well, it's not exactly a new trend. It's getting to the point where there are so many surveillance systems. You know, these ones we've heard about in the last 2 days are just some of them. There's so many surveillance systems that they just step on each other's toes and do get a little bit out of control. There's this, you know, a lot of people are getting chopped up. There's a story of a gentleman by the name of Brandon Raub. I don't know if you've covered it or not, but it's worth your time, who was a Marine who got essentially thrown in an asylum for his Facebook posts. I won't go into all the details, but it is a little out of control, yes.
Well, you say out of control, but now that it's out in the open, some of these revelations, will anything change?
That's a very good question. I'd love to say yes. But again, the same problem I had before. Americans are not prepared to face the fact that they're living in an electronic police state. They didn't think it was possible in America. We have this glorious Constitution that protects us from everything automatically. They can't really wrap their minds around it yet, and there are a lot of people, I don't know how many, are looking for an excuse to say, no, it really doesn't matter, it's okay. Where people will fall on either side of the line, how many, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there. Paul Rosenberg, thank you very much indeed for joining us here live on RT.